Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. The semi-final stage of the Champions League is well underway after the 2-2 draw between Bayern and Real Madrid yesterday in Munich. And we stay in Germany tonight as Borussia Dortmund host PSG for the first leg of this last four matchup. Dortmund are in the semi-finals of the Champions League for the first time since the 2012-2013 season, where they reached the final that campaign but were beaten at Wembley by Bayern Munich. But this time around, 11 seasons on, the Yellow Wall are needed more than ever as Dortmund currently sit 5th in the Bundesliga and are out of the DFB Pokal. For PSG, they were 27 games unbeaten in all competitions before that first leg defeat to Barcelona in the last 8, but a miraculous turnaround away from home in the second leg when they were at 1 point down 4-2 on aggregate saw the Parisians put themselves into a third ever Champions League semi-final. These two have already met twice this season as they were both in Group F, where Dortmund finished top and PSG just behind in second. In those two games, Dortmund failed to win with a 2-0 loss at PSG in September and then a 1-1 draw here at the Signal Iduna Park in mid-December. It is the second time they have met in the Champions League knockout stages as PSG dumped Dortmund out of the last 16 stage back in 2020. So, for the first leg of two between Dortmund and PSG in this Champions League semi-final, will either side take an advantage to Paris next Tuesday? In all honesty, didn't watch the game last night between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Tuesday nights are my football night where I go out and play, so I had to miss that one. That's why I'll be doing the Real Madrid Bayern Munich second leg next week, so we're going to be covering both semi-finals, but I'm definitely looking forward to this first leg. I think it could definitely shape how the second leg goes. You're probably thinking that Dortmund need to take something to PSG, a lead. I don't think a draw would be good enough for Dortmund. I think if it goes all level into the second leg, I think PSG will definitely fancy themselves. So for Dortmund, if they can try and take some kind of advantage to Paris next week, then that is probably the best chance they've got of qualifying for the final and going through to that Wembley final. The last time Wembley was the host of the Champions League final was when Dortmund was in it against Bayern Munich, so we could have the same final 11 years on, which would be very coincidental and pretty cool. But for PSG, they want to make their second ever Champions League final appearance. Their other Champions League final appearance was a defeat to Bayern Munich in 2020 during the COVID times, where they played that final over in Portugal in that mini 2-week tournament where the quarter-final onwards was just one-legged games. So it just seemed like Bayern Munich has took away a lot of hopes and dreams of Dortmund and PSG fans in the past, beating them in Champions League finals, but they could face Bayern Munich in the final, or it could be Real Madrid, the 14 times winners. So whoever goes through from this side of the semi-final, they're probably going to be the underdogs for the final. Personally, if it was a Bayern Munich PSG final, I'd personally fancy Bayern Munich myself under Thomas Tuchel, and I think Bayern Munich would, for me personally, opinion, would be favourites for that one. But it all depends on PSG's main plays and if they turn up. Of course, if Kylian Mbappe turns up and plays his usual game where he's just absolutely on fire, then any opponent is in danger. Kylian Mbappe looking for 50 goals in the Champions League tonight. If he scores 2 more, then he's on 50. 42 of them have been scored for PSG, 6 for Monaco, as he's currently on 48. He is PSG's leading goal scorer of all time, the 25-year-old, with 255 goals for PSG. Was brought in the August of 2017, spent the first season on loan until PSG could activate the buy clause of the loan for €180 million. There is big questions where Kylian Mbappe will move to next. It's looking very likely it will be Real Madrid, but we'll just have to wait and see, as we'll go through both lineups here in a little bit more detail, and we'll start with the home side, and we'll begin with Borussia Dortmund, who are unchanged from their second leg lineup against Atletico Madrid, and they have made 3 changes from their weekend fixture in their 4-1 defeat to RB Leipzig, and it is Gregor Kobel in goal, making his 20th ever Champions League appearance. A back 4 of Julian Ryerson. At left back is loanee from Chelsea, Ian Maatsen. He scored in that second leg against Atletico Madrid. And 2 centre-halves, both German, of Mats Hummels and Nico Schlotterbeck. 2 holding midfielders of Marcel Sabitzer and captain Emre Can. 3 behind the striker. On the right is Jadon Sancho. On the left is Karim Adeyemi. Behind the striker is Julian Brandt, who is looking for double figures in goals this season. He's currently on 9 in all competitions. He's scored twice in the Champions League this season, once against Newcastle in the group stage, and also in that second leg against Atletico Madrid in the quarter-final stage. And up front through the middle will be Niklas Füllkrug, who has had a fantastic opening season as a Borussia Dortmund player. He has got 14 Dortmund goals, 2 of them in the Champions League, and like Brandt, he also scored against Newcastle in the group stages and against Atletico Madrid in the second leg of the quarter-final stage. For PSG, they are also unchanged from their last Champions League starting 11, which was played 2 weeks ago, and it is Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. A back 4 right back of Achraf Hakimi, who spent 2 years here on loan at Borussia Dortmund, scoring 13 times in 73 appearances. At left back is Nuno Mendes, who's making his 80th PSG appearance, and the 2 in the middle of the back 4 is captain Marquinhos and number 21 Lucas Hernandez, who is making his 50th Champions League appearance. 3 in the midfield of Warren Zaire-Emery, who's making his 40th appearance of the season in all competitions, and with him will be Fabian Ruiz and Vitinha, who scored in the first and second leg against Barcelona in the quarter-final. On the front 3 will be another former Borussia Dortmund player, Ousmane Dembele, also spent 2 years here just before Hakimi joined. He was sold for €105 million, and he is making his 50th Champions League appearance. On the left will be Bradley Barcola, who was brought in the summer for €45 million from Lyon, and through the middle is the main man. It's Kylian Mbappe, 43 goals so far this season in all competitions. He's bettered his tally for last season. He is the one who can single-handedly send PSG through. Of course, he'll need help from his teammates, but they will definitely be looking upon their talisman Mbappe up front to bring the goals tonight, as it is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. You can already see the yellow wall with all the flags up being waved around. It's going to be really hostile for PSG to play in, but they've played in so many hostile atmospheres this season. I mean, they didn't quite get around the atmosphere of Newcastle. Were beaten quite heavily in that one 4-1, but they played at Newcastle, they played at the San Siro against AC Milan, they've played here already this season at the Signal Iduna Park. They've had to go to Barcelona as well, which I know is not the new camp at the moment, but that was a pretty hostile atmosphere with the way they were treating Ousmane Dembele, but PSG's number 10 got the last laugh in that one. And for Dortmund, you know, it's so difficult to get beyond Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. The way they play, the way they are as a footballing team, it really takes strong mentality to get beyond them in the Champions League. And Dortmund did that really well in the quarter-final stage, losing the first leg as well and being able to turn it around and win the second leg 4-2. Was really impressive and a really impressive result to see from Borussia Dortmund. And this is a really big opportunity for them. They only reached the last 16 last season, being knocked out by Chelsea's Graham Potter's Chelsea side. They reached the quarterfinals in 2021, but were beaten by Manchester City, beaten in the quarterfinals in 2017 as well. So they haven't reached this stage since 2013 when they played Real Madrid and beat them 4-3 on aggregate to go and play Bayern Munich in the final, where they lost in the 89th minute with that Iron Robben goal. Here are the officials. As it is an all-England setup, nearly. We've got just the one person, a part of the officials, who isn't English, and that's the fourth official of Espen Escas, who is Spanish, but the rest are English. We've got Anthony Taylor as the referee, 45-year-old. He was the referee for the Europa League final back in 2023, and his two assistants are Gary Beswick and Adam Nunn. And he is here with the two captains of Marquinhos on the left and Emre Can on the right. It's a big night for both. PSG never won the Champions League. Borussia Dortmund have won it once before in 1997, beating Juventus 3-1 in the final. They need this to Borussia Dortmund because in the league they're not doing very well. Fifth at the moment with 5 points off fourth for Champions League football next season, and they've only got 3 games left, so it is looking very likely that Borussia Dortmund will be missing out on Champions League football next season. Possibly, of course, with the new layout of the Champions League, Germany might get an extra Champions League place, so that might go to 5th. So they might get it through coefficient points, but based on league table at the moment, Borussia Dortmund won't be in the Champions League next season. Thanks to everyone who is here. Come on, Dortmund. We've got a Dortmund supporter there. But like I say, we won't be covering the second leg. Like I say, I am busy on Tuesdays, hence why I'm doing this first leg here. So we will be covering the Real Madrid Bayern Munich second leg next Tuesday. So at least we'll get a taste of both semi-finals. And it looks like it will be PSG to kick off tonight as we start the month of May. Signal Iduna Park will be absolutely rocking. It's known as the Temple by Dortmund fans. They need it to be their temple tonight as PSG kick us off, going back to Marquinhos, who kicks it long towards the left-hand side, headed in the air by Ryerson, headed inside by Sancho towards Emre Can, who heads it forward back to Sancho, cut out by Mendes, and it's now PSG to start playing on the halfway line with Vitinha, who lifts it over the head of Füllkrug and over to the right centre half of Marquinhos, and it's PSG to start with the possession of the ball inside their own half here. Marquinhos will play it across his half, and it'll go to Lucas Hernandez, making his 50th Champions League appearance tonight. And they try and set away Mbappe on the left wing, but he just runs out of pitch, and it'll be a Borussia Dortmund throw-in on this near side. There is their head coach, Edin Terzic, 41 years old. Been at the club now, his manager since July 2022. And Ousmane Dembele just pulled down in the centre circle by Emre Can. That'll be a free kick for PSG. Wonder what treatment he'll be getting tonight, Ousmane Dembele, after just being absolutely constantly whistled at and chanted at by the Barcelona fans in the quarter-final. But now he's back again at another former club. As it's PSG on the ball, just inside the centre circle with Zaire Emery. Rolls it to his right to Marquinhos, who from centre-back comes forward with the ball and plays it out to the right wing to Hakimi. Keeps it simple here to Dembele, and then back to Marquinhos. PSG currently camped inside the Dortmund half, with Hakimi midway inside the Dortmund half. Sliding challenge from Maatsen. Last touch off Hakimi, throwing for Dortmund. Good tackle there from the Chelsea loanee, Ian Maatsen, who last season was playing in the Championship with Burnley, winning the league with Vincent Kompany. Now he's playing in the Champions League semi-finals with Dortmund. As from the throw-in, it's played inside by Füllkrug. Ryerson slips, but it'll be kept alive for Dortmund by Jadon Sancho, who goes back across to the left-back position to Maatsen. Now to the goalkeeper of Kerbal in the 18-yard box. It's now Hummels to the right-back of Ryerson. The Norwegian international brings it forward beyond the halfway line. He keeps running forward as he's been given space to do so. And he'll try and play the ball towards Sabitzer, cut out by Hernandez. Fabian Ruiz goes back to Mendes at left back, who gets his clearance deflected. Füllkrug nods it down to Ryerson. Works it to Sabitzer in the right wing position here on the final third. Backheels it towards Ryerson, cut out by Mendes. Ruiz tackled by Sancho. And it's now with Sabitzer. Runs into traffic of Ruiz and he can't keep the ball in play. And in the final third for Dortmund on this near side, it'll be a throw-in for the home side. Let's see what the comment says. Celtic versus Rangers 11th of May. Can you do this game? I don't think I can. I had a look. I think I'm busy when that game is being played, which is annoying, but what can you do? So the throw-in goes to Sancho. Tries to flick it through to Ryerson. Comes off Mendes again. So another throw-in for Dortmund right in front of those travelling Parisians in the corner of the ground there. They'll be in full voice. 2-hour round flight, not a very long journey for those coming from Paris tonight to the Signal Iduna Park. As Ryerson throws it into the 18-yard box here, flicked on by Füllkrug. It's just poked away by Zaire Emery. Up towards Mbappe, who won't beat Schlotterbeck to the ball. And it's now Hummels on halfway. Playing it forward to Chan and out wide to the right here to Ryerson. Leaves it for Sancho. He'll run at Nuno Mendes here. Goes inside Sancho, but he's tackled by Ruiz. It's now with Mendes who turns forward and plays it to his left to Ruiz. Then back to Mendes. Down the line towards Barcola. Cut out though by Ryerson. Chan to Brandt. Takes on the turn nicely and kicks it off the referee of Anthony Taylor, who apologises, but it will be a drop ball for Dortmund in the end. First time they've got him on the ball within the first 5 minutes. There's Julian Brandt. Only 27 years of age, Julian Brandt. I was surprised he was that young. I thought he was just a little bit older. I feel like he's been around in football for ages. Starting off at Leverkusen. That's midway inside the PSG half. On this near side, it's a Dortmund throw-in with Sancho, who will leave it for Ryerson to take, and he throws it into his own half here to number 15 of Hummels, who has been around the block in 2 clubs. He's been at Dortmund and Bayern Munich. 35 years of age now, Hummels. That's now with a bit of a younger centre-half of Schlotterbeck, who goes to the goalkeeper of Gregor Köbel. Swiss goalkeeper. Now Hummels in the 18-yard box, taking his time, bringing it forward. Barkel is coming across to try and nick the ball off him, but Hummels can release it to Brandt. He's now in the right-back position with Chan. Forward for Ryerson, who by his head coach there has been told to dart forward. And he's got so much space to run forward. And he'll lay it off to Sancho to his right, who in the box crosses low and it's dealt with by Hernandez. And out he goes for a throw-in. Crazy amount of space for the right-back Ryerson to run into there. Too big of a gap between midfield and defence there for PSG. That needs to be sorted. As Dortmund have definitely grown into the game as Sancho gives it away to Vitinha. And now PSG can break with Mbappe in the centre circle. The run being made ahead of him to the right, and he'll find Hakimi, who's full of pace himself. He'll be closed down by Adeyemi. He goes down under the challenge of the German attacker. And nothing given. And the last touch came off Hakimi. And that'll be a goal kick for Borussia Dortmund. Good tracking back there by Karim Adeyemi, who scored against PSG in the group stage. In the 1-1 draw here. Gave them the lead in the 51st minute, but that was cancelled by a Zaire Emery goal in the 56th. But it's definitely Dortmund who are on top in the game. PSG started with the ball first 2 minutes, and Luis Enrique isn't happy, storming to his bench, not happy with how his team's performing in the opening exchange of this game, as Sancho can drive forward with it down the right-hand side. Lays it off to Ryerson, who likes to get forward from full-back, and he's shown that early on here. So now we're Brandt in the middle of the park, curling it out to the left-hand side to Maatsen. Forward to Adeyemi in the final third. 1-on-1 for Hakimi. Goes around him. And Adeyemi can work across to the far post. It's over here. And it will be kept in. No, it won't be kept in by Sancho. Out of play for a throw-in. Really positive play there by Adeyemi. Went around Hakimi and worked the cross. But just overhit it, unfortunately, for Borussia Dortmund. On the home side, I've got 6 wins in their last 10. But just 2 from the last 5. Lost at the weekend, Dortmund, quite heavily to RB Leipzig, 4-1. They did go 1-0 up through Jadon Sancho. He's an absolute screamer with his right foot into the top right corner. But they've definitely started okay here. As PSG try and play out from the left-back position here. It's Fabian Ruiz, forward to Vitinha. Into the box, he goes to Marquinhos, being closed down by Füllkrug, but he can find Hakimi at right-back. Forward to the halfway line to Ousmane Dembele. He's allowed to drive forward with the ball, but he's tackled by Maatsen. Brilliant tackle. So now Brandt helps it on once more to Sabitzer. He's got options left and right. He'll find Adeyemi to the left, Maatsen to the left, but it's just gone behind him, but he can keep it for Dortmund. 1-on-1 with Marquinhos, and now finds Adeyemi, who brings it forward into the box, tries to get it through the legs of Vitinha, but he keeps them closed. And PSG try and work it out from right back. Vitinha inside to Dembele, brought down by Chan, who just needs to be careful here. That's an early couple of fouls given away by Emre Can, the captain, formerly of Liverpool and Bayern Munich and Juventus. Emre Can, 30 years of age now. This is his 49th appearance in the competition. Only scored once in the Champions League, Emre Can, for Liverpool against NK Maribor in November 2017. He's also got history in this fixture, Emre Can, sent off against PSG when they met in the last 16 in 2020. Where PSG won 3-2 on aggregate. Emre Can sent off in the 89th minute of the second leg. Out to the right here, midway inside the Dortmund half, it's Hakimi. Not many options around him. He'll charge down the right-hand side himself, then goes inside to Dembele. Tackled by Champ, but he keeps it alive here, Dembele. Finds Zaire Emery. Across to Vitinha, about 30 yards from goal. Helps out to the left wing here to Nuno Mendes. Forward to Ruiz, who turns. Can't flick it through for Mbappe. Picked up on the edge of the box by Chan. It's now in the box towards the penalty spot with Schlotterbeck. Lifts it forward up towards Füllkrug, who can chest it down and turn away as well from Ruiz and play it to Jadon Sancho at right wing on the halfway line. And Sancho runs into a bit of traffic, but he just about keeps it away from Barcola. He's now out to the left back, just inside his own half here with Maatsen. Adeyemi. Back to Maatsen again. And to the goalkeeper of Gregor Köbel. Signed a contract extension in October of last year to keep him at the club till 2028. Brought in a couple of seasons ago, Köbel from Stuttgart for just 15 million euros. It's Hummels. Sends it over the top of the PSG defence. Hernandez will get there first. Brandt will chase it though. Forces Hernandez to clear it up the field quickly. Flicked on by Ruiz, straight to Barcola. He will work his way into the Dortmund half here and lays it off for Mbappe. And Mbappe just slows the play down here. And it's now with Hakimi forward to Vitinha. Sorry, to Zaire Emery. Sorry, not Vitinha. It's now in the PSG half with the number 21, Lucas Hernandez, brought in for 40 million euros in the summer from Bayern, where they paid 80 million for him, so a bit of a loss there for Bayern Munich on Lucas Hernandez. He struggled out of injury whilst he was in Germany, unfortunately. As it's Hakimi in the final third. First time to Mbappe. Back it goes to Dembele, 25 yards out, chops onto his right foot, then lets fly and drags the shot wide. Quite wide in the end there by Ousmane Dembele. He spent 2 years here at Dortmund before leaving for Barcelona. As we're just over 10 minutes in here. Still Dortmund 0, PSG 0. There's this kick straight out of play there, I think, by Köbel, the goalkeeper. Throw it here on the near side for PSG. I think it was Hummels, actually, who sent it away. As it is PSG attacking that yellow wall for this first half, so Dortmund will be kicking that way second half, which would help them score a goal. As the throw-in has gone all the way back into the PSG half. I felt like it's a bit unnecessary to have to throw it all the way back that way to keep possession. When will answer my question? I've already answered it, mate. I said I can't do the game. I've already answered it. Don't worry about that. As Barcola brings down a switch pass and brings it through to Mbappe, who's tackled in the box by Hummels. Finds Sancho, passes it back to Hummels, just about reached him. Then Sancho again in the right back position. Works it to Hummels. I don't know how they've been able to pull off 2-1-2s there, Hummels and Sancho, but he made it work. And then it's PSG to give it away again. It's now with Emre Can in the midfield, facing his own goal. And he will try and find Köbel, the goalkeeper, who just avoids the corner. Kicks it out of play for a throw-in instead. So on this near side, it's a PSG throw-in with a left-back Nuno Mendes, who's just returning back the last couple of months from a long-term hamstring problem. Did start all of PSG's last 3 Champions League games, so the 2 quarter-finals against Barcelona, then the second leg of the last 16 against Real Sociedad. As they've worked it to the halfway line to Marquinhos, who tries the opposite flank here. It's Hakimi on the far side. Pulls it back here for Dembele. Everyone in your yellow and black shirt behind the ball now, as it's with Marquinhos in the Dortmund half. Finds Hernandez. It's on the left back, Mendes. To Vitinha. Returns it to Mendes. Out wide it goes to Barcola. Tries to take on Rice in the right back, but he's been tackled, and Dortmund have it back with Sabitzer on the ball. Forward to Brandt on halfway. Skips beyond Hernandez. Brandt with it. Finds Sancho to his right, who tries to play the 1-2. Cut out though by Mendes, and then it's won back by Sancho. Now into the path of Brandt on the right wing, who slips it through to Sabitzer in the box, who will get there before Donnarumma. And the shot is saved by the Italian, but there could be a second try as Brandt pulls it back towards Sancho. Cut out by Mendes and cleared by Mendes off Sancho, and it'll be a PSG ball. Biggest chance of the semi-final so far. Sabitzer forcing a save out of Donnarumma. Just given away a bit too cheaply there by Nuno Mendes. And it was Julian Brandt to have the second go. Also winning it off Nuno Mendes, but the Portuguese left-back was the one in the end who cleared the ball away off of Sancho to get the PSG ball. And it's now with the left centre-half here of Hernandez. Tries to go long, but it comes off Füllkrug. And out for a PSG throw-in with their left-back, Nuno Mendes. Came through at Sporting Lisbon, the left-back, for the first 10 years of his career. Doesn't quite know where to throw this Nuno Mendes, not finding the right option yet. Eventually does make the throw to the halfway line, straight off the chest of Hummels, lifted over Ruiz by Sabitzer to Sancho, then back to Sabitzer. Can't find Brandt, header away by Zaire Emery. Looks far as Chan. He goes back to the right centre half of Hummels in the Dortmund half, and it's now with Ryerson, the right back. Finds Sancho in the final third, touches a little bit loose, and it's tackled away by Nuno Mendes. Down the line to Barcola. Loses out to Chan, and then wins it back. And that'll be a PSG throw. It's less than 15 minutes played. PSG did dominate possession in both games in the group stage. In the home game, PSG had 69% of the possession. And then here, in the other group stage game, they had 60% of the ball, sorry. So it is usually PSG who dominate against Dortmund, but I feel like it's been pretty even in the opening 15 minutes. Dortmund have the ball with their left-back Maatsen. Wants to try and get into the final third, but has to go back instead. He's being closed down by Zaire Emery. So now Maatsen with it, finds Brandt, who in that number 10 role just seems a bit of a floater, kind of can travel where he wants on the pitch as long as he makes a meaningful impact, as Hummels is lifted ball out to this near side, goes over the head of the right back Ryerson, and it's a throw-in for PSG on the halfway line. Bit of a poor ball there by Hummels, as at home they've not been great. Borussia Dortmund, just 8 wins from their 15. They've only won one of their last 4 here in the Bundesliga in mid-March against Frankfurt. But they were able to win here against Atletico Madrid in that 4-2 win in the second leg. Also won here as well against PSV in the last 16 second leg, 2-0. As Mbappe's been found to be offside there, so it's a Dortmund free kick inside their own half. But even though Dortmund have been great at home in the league, they are usually strong here in the Champions League. Dortmund are unbeaten in their last 10 Champions League home games. 6 wins, 4 draws. And it's their longest ever unbeaten home run in this competition. PSG have won it back here with Vitinha skipping away from Füllkrug. It's now Fabian Ruiz out to the left to Nuno Mendes, who's just before the halfway line. And he goes across again to his right to Ruiz, who will enter the Dortmund half. And lays it off to his left here to Kylian Mbappe, not being involved too much, the number 7 for PSG, as he tries to get around Emre Can, and he does just that. And it's still with Mbappe, gets away from Hummels, but then tackled by Can, a second time of asking. And it's a clearance for Dortmund, but it can't be kept by Sabitzer. Ruiz in behind for Barcola, and they find him in the box, chops onto his right foot, he crosses low towards Mbappe, deflects off Sabitzer, drops to Vitinha. Out wide to the right to Hakimi, in the box, goes outside the box to Dembele, who will shoot towards goal. And it's another one wide, but it's another attempt from Ousmane Dembele, who's now had 2 shots in the game. They've both been off target. First one was for the far post, that one's for the near post, but it was always curling away from goal, that one. Pretty poor attempt in the end. Not really been in the goals too much this season, Dembele, just 5 in all competitions, and he has scored twice in this competition, in the first and second leg against Barcelona, his former side. As Dortmund go long up to the halfway line, header won by Hernandez through to Mbappe, who's been found to be offside. So another free kick for Dortmund. That's the second time in quick succession that Kylian Mbappe has been found offside. Dortmund with it. Midway inside their own half here, Hummels. Risky ball out to the left. Then it's been cut out by Zaire Emery ahead of Maatsen. And Zaire Emery's brought down by Maatsen. Will a card be shown? It will. I don't think he can have complaints, and he doesn't have any. Anthony Taylor with the first yellow of the night. just a strange pass from Hummels. He's done a couple of them tonight already. Just lifting it out towards the left back, Maatsen, who was never really an out-and-out favourite to get the ball. Zaire Emery took it off him, and as Zaire Emery just knocked it past Maatsen, he dived in with the slide tackle, got absolutely none of the ball, caught the man, and he's given PSG a free kick here on the right wing position. A bit too far out wide for a shot, but a nice angle for a cross. So it'll be Ousmane Dembele to take it, right-footed, who will draw the first blood in this semi-final. Dembele crosses to the near post. It goes all the way through to the far post here to Ruiz in the corner of the box, who will cross it to the far post towards Ousmane Dembele, who heads it across. It's come off, I think, Füllkrug and cleared by Dortmund in the end. It's PSG on the ball. Just in front of the halfway line. And that's PSG kicking out of play here. That's Lucas Hernandez. Just from that free kick, just hurt his mouth, it looks like. I think there's a little bit of blood. Have a look. I think it was just an elbow from Sabitzer. Did he run into the elbow? Did Sabitzer throw an elbow out? Well, Sabitzer's just backed into Hernandez with his elbow just sticking out a little bit, and it's gone straight into the mouth of Hernandez. I wouldn't say it was intentional. I don't think he meant to strike the elbow into his mouth, but that's where it ended up. And Hernandez a little bit of a bloody mouth, but Dortmund threw it back to PSG. Very sportsmanlike. Hernandez back on the pitch. And we're back underway, just over 20 minutes in. Dortmund 0, PSG 0. We've had a big chance for Sabitzer for Dortmund, which was saved by Donnarumma. PSG haven't quite had a big chance as of yet. But Ousmane Dembele has had two strikes that have gone quite far wide of both posts. As it is with Ousmane Dembele here in the final third. 1-on-1 with Maatsen. Goes on his left foot, squares it to Mbappe, takes the touch. Just on the edge of the box here. Has to just restart. Goes back out to the left back of Mendes. It's out to the right now to Marquinhos. Plays it to Dembele. Now DM is the one to come across to try and defend against him. But Dembele can work the cross in. Header away by Hummels. Out to the Dortmund left where it can be kept in by Brandt. But headed forward by Marquinhos. It's now with Hakimi. It's with Dembele on the edge of the area. Tries to go into the box, but he's been tackled there really well by Schlotterbeck, but then given away again straight to Vitinha, who finds Mbappe, tries to pass it on once more towards Barcola, just not quite near his path, and through into the goalkeeper of Gregor Kerbel. Definitely both sides have shown signs of what they can do to score tonight. I wouldn't really say there's a team dominating at the moment in this one. As Dortmund go long, and it's headed backwards by Mendes to Hernandez, and it's now PSG who are back on the ball. But this is Borussia Dortmund's fourth Champions League semi-final, winning 2 of the previous 3. In 1997, where they won the competition, then in 2013, when they lost the final. The only semi-final elimination they've had was to Real Madrid back in 1998. And for PSG, this is also their fourth semi-final. Knocked out in 2 of the 3 they've already played in, to AC Milan in 1995, then City in 2021, as Mbappe's heavy touch in the box goes to the goalkeeper. He was threaded through there by Fabian Ruiz. But unlike Mbappe, the touch just got away from him. And if he'd got it right, it would have been a huge chance to score. But it's Dortmund to bring it forward down the right-hand side. There is space down this right flank as Sancho goes to the left instead. That's an awful ball. Goes behind Sabitzer, collected by Vitinha. It's now Barcola, who brings in the left-back Nuno Mendes in the PSG half. Continues to bring it forward here. Into the Dortmund half we go. Still with Nuno Mendes. Goes back to Ruiz. Mendes again. And then all the way back to Hernandez. It's PSG who are on the ball. Hakimi. Zaire Emery. Everyone behind the ball for Dortmund bar Füllkrug. And now everyone is behind the ball as the pass is played backwards to Hernandez. He then works out to the left wing here to Barcola. To the edge of the box to Mbappe. Loads of time on the ball for him. He moves it across to his right to Zaire Emery. It's now Vitinha. Zaire Emery. Marquinhos. It's now in the centre circle with Lucas Hernandez. Being closed down by Füllkrug. But works the ball to Mendes and then back into the PSG half with Lucas Hernandez. Still in the PSG half with the French centre-back, who's making his 50th Champions League appearance tonight. Spent the final season of his career of Bayern Munich on the sidelines, suffered an ACL injury in November 2022. Lucas Hernandez then didn't return until the end of the season. Yes. Hakimi runs it out on this touchline. On the byline, it's a goal kick for Borussia Dortmund. Oh my god, Kerbal with the ball for Dortmund, going long beyond the halfway line up towards Füllkrug. It's a header won by Marquinhos. And then we Hummels to head it out wide right here to Ryerson. He's got Fabian Ruiz forcing him backwards, but he'll play it inside instead to Hummels, who's got forward from centre-back. Then he plays it to Sancho. Got the overlap of Ryerson. Sancho still has it. And then back heels it to Ryerson. Wants to go forward, but he runs out of room. And that'll be a throw-in for PSG. In a left-back position. Dortmund won it back, but they give it away on the edge of the box for Lucas Hernandez. And it's now to the near side to Fabian Ruiz. Wants to switch it to the opposite side. It just about gets over the head of Adeyemi into Hakimi. And now Hakimi has it in the Dortmund half. Going to Zaire Emery. Slide tackle from Schlotterbeck, and it's Dortmund to win it back. Forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Kerbal. To the right centre-back of Hummels, who originally came through at Bayern Munich. Mats Hummels, from 1995 to 2009, before joining Dortmund on a loan spell, before then joining permanently, but then leaving for Bayern again in 2016, but returning here in 2019. Won 6 Bundesliga titles altogether, Mats Hummels, 2 of them here with Dortmund. Now with Adeyemi in the left wing position, tries to skip around. Hakimi gets away from Hakimi, and Marquinhos doesn't put in the greatest of challenges, and then Hakimi then brings down Adeyemi, and it's a free kick in the left wing position for Borussia Dortmund. Just seemed a really weak tackle there from Marquinhos, which allowed the ball to still run free for Adeyemi, who just got himself in front of Hakimi, bundled to the ground. And it's a free kick for the home side. I just feel like Marquinhos has got to be a little bit stronger in the tackle there, because the ball would never stay in. So it'll be a delivery in from the far side. It'll be Julian Brandt to cross it. Anthony Taylor just having a couple of words here with both sets of players. So after the referee's had his conversations that he's needed to have in the box, it's going to be the ball that goes in there, and it's header won by Fabian Ruiz and volleyed into the sky towards Sancho, who can control it. Oh, it's beautiful, and he gets away from Ruiz. He enters the box. Sancho onto his left foot. What a run this is. Can he shoot? He'll lay it off instead. Brandt will strike it, and it's a big block. Knocks him to the ground there, Marquinhos. And it'll be kept in on this near side by Ruiz, who nutmegs Ryerson. And it's the away side to keep it, but then lose it. What a bad ball that is from Ruiz. Straight to Brandt. Sancho to Schlotterbeck in a right wing position. The left-footed centre-back cuts in onto his left foot and clears and crosses. And Hakimi slices the clearance behind for a corner. A minute of madness there. In a good way for Borussia Dortmund, just causing chaos for PSG. Schlotterbeck with a decent ball in there from the corner of the box on the right-hand side. But the Brandt shot, he hit it hard with his side of his foot and straight off the head of Marquinhos. That's a brilliant block. No wonder it knocked him to the ground. It'll be Brandt to deliver again, but it'll be a right-footed outswinger from this near side. Again, the referee just taking his time, talking to the players, ensuring no fouls are committed. As Brandt crosses, it's a deeper one to the far post towards Hummels, who heads it towards goal. It's actually back out towards Brandt, who is coming back from an offside position. And it'll be a free kick here for PSG. I mean, I don't quite know where that header was meant to go for Hummels. It's obviously not gone into the right place. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to head it straight back to Brandt there. As we are commentating again tomorrow, another European game, Aston Villa against Olympiacos in their first leg in the Europa Conference League. Sorry about that. So PSG on the ball in their 18-yard box here with Gianluigi Donnarumma, who only made his Champions League debut in September 2021. He had to wait a while for that. He had to join PSG for it because whilst he was at AC Milan, they weren't in the Champions League at that point. As PSG are on the attack here, Dembele trying to get into the box, but tackled by Adeyemi, who gives it to his goalkeeper Kerbal. Clears it first time with his left foot. Up the field it goes, and it's dropped towards Sabitzer, who kicks it on towards Füllkrug. Header won by Hernandez, and it drops to Hummels here, who will just lift it out to the right-hand side. It's been brought down by Sancho again. Well, we know how good of a first touch he's got, but he just stops it dead, and he's able to keep the ball away from Mendes. And it's now Dortmund to attack. Lifted ball down the left channel towards Sabitzer, who slides in as Hakimi got there first. And I'm not quite sure if he's keeping the cards in the pocket there, Anthony Taylor. It was a bit of a late one by Marcel Sabitzer, who spent the back end of last season on loan at Manchester United, scoring twice in the Europa League in the knockout stages. Don't think he was booked there, Sabitzer. I think he can count himself slightly fortunate. I mean, don't think it wasn't malicious or anything like that, but he was definitely late. The PSG player got there first, that is for sure. Not lost away from home this season, PSG, in the league. And they've only lost once all season, and that was at home to Nice in September, 3-2 in the end. But they did win the league at the weekend, which is a fantastic achievement for PSG, as it's Mbappe with it. Out to the left, it's not a great pass, but that is an unbelievable touch to bring that out of the sky. Barkla has it, gets away from Ryerson, squares it towards Vitinha, it goes through towards Dembele, cleared by Maatsen, kept by Zaire Emery to the halfway line to Mendes. It just seems like the final pass tonight, it just seems off from everyone. No one's quite finding that moment where they can really split the defence open. Mbappe had that chance there, but it was just a really high pass as Hakimi gets himself in the box, tackled by Schlotterbeck, who wins it cleanly, had to as well. And it's Dortmund to survive there. But again, loose pass straight to Vitinha for PSG. He goes down the line for Hakimi. No one's in the box, though, for PSG, so not like he's got anyone to aim for here, is it's Zaire Emery. Tries to hit it through to Mbappe, cleared by Maatsen. To Lucas Hernandez. PSG will try and come again here, down the right-hand side. Can they work across? Hakimi with it. In the box he goes towards the byline, and he's stopped by Adeyemi, who can see it through for a goal kick. Done really well defensively so far, Karim Adeyemi, helping his left back of Maatsen, because of course the attacking threats they've got going forward, PSG, are quite scary. You know, you've got Hakimi and Dembele on the right, and then you've got Mendes and Barcola on the left with Mbappe through the middle. It requires a team effort to stop PSG scoring. As Ryerson keeps it in on the halfway line and plays it for Sancho. Tackled by Ruiz, but drops to Sabitzer, who switches it out to the left. That's a great ball. Headed down by Adeyemi to keep it in, and he finds Maatsen. Brings in Emre Can. Who has to go back to Maatsen, about 5 yards in front of the halfway line. So now Sancho, who's just drifted over towards the left-hand side. Goes back to Schlotterbeck. He wants to go forward. He lifts it forward over the top to Füllkrug, who will control it in the box. Strikes it and he scores! Flag down. And Dortmund take the lead. A ball over the top. Completely catches out the PSG back four. And the touch from Füllkrug was perfect for him. Into his path. And he drills it low. Underneath Donnarumma, who couldn't get down quick enough to stop it. He was with Schlotterbeck, who wanted to go back. Instead, decided to go forward. Send it over the top. It's a tight one. Füllkrug controls it with his right boot, which sends him into the box where he can just bury it with the left. Just too powerful. Right along the surface. Donnarumma, with his 6'5" build, just simply could not get down quick enough. And for Füllkrug, that is his third goal of the season in the Champions League. Goals in back-to-back games now, as he scored here in that quarter-final second leg against Atletico Madrid. I'm sure there'll be a VAR check, but for now, Dortmund do lead through Nicholas Füllkrug, who's really started to peak in his career, going into his 30s, which you don't see too often. But he had his breakout season last campaign with Werder Bremen, where he was top goal scorer with Nkunku in the Bundesliga, which got his summer move to Dortmund, where he's continued scoring. That's now his 15th in the colours of black and yellow. And I do believe the VAR check is possibly still going on. VAR is an all-English setup. Stuart Atwell as the main VAR, then his assistant is David Coote. But just towards the near post, bottom left corner, a really good finish from the German international, who's also got an unbelievable goal-scoring record for his country, 11 in 15 for Germany, for Nicholas Füllkrug. He scored twice at the World Cup in Qatar in the group stages. And it's just such a good story to see players like this who haven't quite made the name for themselves in Europe until later on in their career. You know, like I say, he's 31 now, Nicholas Füllkrug, and it's just mightily impressive, the numbers he's putting up here in the last couple of years. And I presume the VAR check has been completed. A goal has been given here. And Borussia Dortmund have taken the lead in this first leg. Of course, there is so much football still to play. But that'll be a confidence booster for the home side. That they can take this semi-final and possibly go one step further and get themselves into the final. They lead here, Nicholas Füllkrug with the goal. And as PSG go along from the kickoff, it's headed backwards by Hummels on the edge of the box to his goalkeeper, and it's Dortmund who are back in possession here, in their own half on the far side, and Yemi forced to go back to Maatsen, then back once more to Schlotterbeck, the assist maker, goes up towards halfway. Header won by Marquinhos. It's now in the centre circle with Fabian Ruiz. On halfway is Hernandez. Goes to his centre-back partner here of Marquinhos, making his 90th Champions League appearance. Sends it out to the right flank to Hakimi. Ball inside to Dembele. Nods it back through for Hakimi, who will deliver it low towards Mbappe, cut out by the slide tackle of Schlotterbeck. It's now Adeyemi who keeps it in. Brandt back to Maatsen, who wants to try and go down the line. He just clears the ball forward here. Nodded down by Füllkrug to Adeyemi. Zaire Emery in front of him. And he gets the last touch, so throwing for Dortmund about 15 yards away from halfway. As with 6 minutes before the break, they lead here 1-0. And that yellow wall is certainly bouncing, and these Dortmund players are making this a temple where PSG are struggling to get out of it. Trailing at the moment, the Parisians. Just one defeat for PSG in the last 33 in all competitions, as Lucas Hernandez has gone down, and this is not good for the away side. He struggles a lot, Lucas Hernandez, with injuries. And it is just heartbreaking to see a player of such quality struggle with injury. As Füllkrug struck the shot, he just kicked through and caught Hernandez with a little bit of contact, which I think has resulted in this injury for the Frenchman. Füllkrug well onside, by the way, using that semi-automated offside system where you can clearly see whether they're on or offside. I think the Premier League should maybe take notes of the system and use it themselves. But let's see if this means Lucas Hernandez has to come off, and it does. Lucas Hernandez having to come off on his 50th Champions League appearance of his career. It will be Lucas Beraldo to replace him, the 19-year-old Brazilian who they only brought in January from Sao Paulo, leaving the likes of Skriniar on the bench and Danilo Pereira as well. So opting to go for the youth and the energy of Beraldo and not the experience of your Skriniars or Danilo Pereira. So Lucas Hernandez off for the Brazilian, who made his Brazil debut in the recent international break in March, playing every minute against England and Spain. But he's having to fill in here at centre-back. He is a left-footed centre-back, which might be the reason he's been brought on here by Luis Enrique, the fact he is left-footed. But for Luis Enrique in this competition, he's only lost 5 times in 43. Just 1 loss at home. That's Nuno Mendes tackled fairly by Füllkrug, and Sancho takes over, but then tackled by Mendes. Last touch off Sancho. Throw-in taken quickly here by Mendes to Beraldo. Now has to go to Donnarumma in the 6-yard box. Forward to the edge of the area to Vitinha. Back to Donnarumma, who's been closed down by Brandt. Plays it to the left centre half of Beraldo. Back to Vitinha on the edge. Brandt still closing down, but Vitinha can release it to the right centre half of Marquinhos. Hakimi on the far side, on the halfway line. Finds Dembele, who's got everyone in front of him at the moment. As he goes to Beraldo at left centre-back. Nuno Mendes. Now Barcola tries to go around the corner to Ruiz. Comes off Ryerson, who gets the ball returned to him from Sabitzer. Ryerson down the line where there was space, but it's Mendes to stick a left leg out and intercept the pass, throwing for the home side with less than 2 minutes of the first 45 to play. Now Hummels skips away from Barcola, and then down the line to Sancho, keeps in. Back to Hummels, forward to Sabitzer, into Füllkrug, who can't quite shift it to Ryerson, but he'll instead switch it out to the left to Adeyemi. outside the area, on his left foot, low ball in, drops to Füllkrug, lays it off, Sabitzer with the shot, big save Donnarumma, still alive with Adeyemi, tries to play it back through to Sabitzer, Marquinhos comes in with the tackle, seen as a clean one by the referee, and PSG try and break, Mbappe in behind for Dembele, but Schlotterbeck has got more than enough pace to get there first, and it's now with the left centre-half as Dortmund try and play out from the back here. Kerbal, the goalkeeper, left-footed clearance, up it goes towards Sabitzer, lets it bounce, and it's headed forward by Marquinhos, chested down by Zaire Emery to Vitinha, lifts it to Hakimi, Zaire Emery now to Vitinha, PSG in their flow, Mbappe, Vitinha, 22 yards out, he's going to let fly, and he was falling as he had the shot, and got right underneath it. Mbappe wanted it back, he didn't get it, ball out for a Dortmund goal kick there is Sabitzer forcing a save out of Donnarumma. Just too close to the Italian in the end. Was able to save it with his knees, I think. And then Marquinhos with the tackle there. Got the ball for me on Adeyemi. About 12 yards out, that strike from Sabitzer. The Austrian central midfielder who scored his only Champions League goal of this season. In the last game against Atletico Madrid in that second leg. Came off the bench in both of the group stage games, Sabitzer against PSG. As it's now with Brandt in the centre circle. Back, bouncing ball to Hummels, who will beat Barkler to it, and he works it to Kerbal, but Barkler will continue to close him down here. Kerbal decides to turn around instead and just keeps it away from the winger. That was risky, but it worked. And we've had 4 minutes added on here. Rice and 1-2 with Sancho, then forward to Füllkrug, who can kick it forward for Sabitzer. Tries to find Brandt, it's just behind him. Taken away by Hakimi in the centre circle. Slide tackle from Sabitzer, and it's not a fair one. It's a second challenge now from Sabitzer, which has been seen as late by Anthony Taylor. And a second time, the cards have stayed in the pocket. Hakimi darting through. Sabitzer, yeah, got the man first, then the ball. Free kick, well given there by the referee. But that challenge from Marquinhos on Maatsen in the box. Sorry, I keep getting them too confused. Do apologise. Yeah, showing that Marquinhos got the ball. Yeah, it is 1-0. Sorry, that's not me changing it. Do apologise. It is 1-0. I just haven't changed it. That's my fault. As PSG attack, final third, left wing, Barkler with it. It's now Vitinha, who's the midfielder supporting him. Goes across to Beraldo. It's now with Marquinhos. Dembele. On his right foot, towards the byline. Crosses low, all the way across, and it's Ryerson to clear. Barkley needed to commit. He didn't, which allowed Ryerson to get there first. And it's Dortmund now with a throw. And that's probably the most clear-cut chance that PSG have had for a while. Right across the box. He got it beyond the goalkeeper there, Dembele. Well, Barkley, instead of going towards goal, he's just held back, maybe in a cut-back instead. But it's Dortmund who survive it. And there's 2 minutes left of added time here. Hey, no problem, I'm just yeah. I always say, make sure if you see anything wrong on screen, just let me know. I can always change it. Sometimes I get just a bit too carried away with the goal, so I just forget to actually put it on the scoreline. That's Barkley. Pushed in the back there by Ryerson. Not enough for a foul, according to the referee. It's now Dortmund midway inside their own half with a ball with Chan. To this near side to Ryerson, beyond the halfway line. And he plays it forward here. Füllkrug holds it up. Plays it back into Ryerson, the right back. He wants to go for a big switch to the left wing, where Adeyemi will reach it first ahead of Hakimi. Shoved in the back by Hakimi. And he runs out of pitch there. Adeyemi throwing for the PSG right back. Hakimi clears it forward, left-footed, headed forward by Maatsen. It's now Chan. Finding Sancho, who's in a left-wing position here, the Englishman. Clearly enjoys his football in Germany, doesn't he? Jadon Sancho. Didn't quite work for him when he returned to England with Manchester United. It's Mats Hummels on the ball for Dortmund, overhitting a touch, but he just about keeps it away from Barkler. Then outside of the boot ball to Adeyemi. Just brilliant football. Adeyemi now has it. He's got Sancho in support, who's remained out on that left-hand side. Still with Adeyemi, though. He'll then lay it off eventually to Sancho. He's got Zaire Emery trying to put the challenge in, but he keeps it away from him at the moment, Sancho, as he goes towards the corner flag. Back it goes to Maatsen. Gets away from one challenge. And then brought down by the second. And that'll be a free kick towards the byline there. He's not been great tonight, Hakimi, defensively. He's been beaten a few times on that PSG right-hand side. And again, he was there, simple step over. And away he was, Maatsen, before being tripped over by Hakimi. Dortmund fans wanting that free kick, and they got it. Tight angle for a shot, but definitely a chance for a cross, and it'll probably be the last play of the half, as we've played the 4 added on here. If Dortmund could double their lead in such a moment, it would be a massive benefit for them. They surround the 6-yard box here, Dortmund, as Brandt goes to the edge of the box instead. Sabitzer, he volleys, kicks it into the ground, and it's caught by Donnarumma. Let go of it for a second, then regathered it, and before he can release it, referee Anthony Taylor will blow for half-time here at the Signal Iduna Park. It is Dortmund 1, PSG 0. And I'd say just in terms of going forward and attacking, I think Dortmund just about deserve the lead. PSG have had a little bit more of the ball, but haven't done a lot with it. We've had 2 off-target shots from Ousmane Dembele, which have not troubled the goalkeeper. And just before the break, when they were 1-0 down, Dembele put a ball low across the box, but no one was there to finish it. It was eventually cleared by Ryerson. But Dortmund have had chances of their own before the goal. Sabitzer forcing a save from Donnarumma, not once but twice. But the goal eventually came with 10 minutes before the break. Nicholas Füllkrug with the goal. He scored in the quarter-final second leg against Atletico Madrid here, and he's now scoring in the semi-final stage to give Dortmund a 1-goal lead. It was a ball over the top of the PSG defence by Schlotterbeck, and bending his run, he stayed onside. Füllkrug took a right-footed touch into the box and then drilled it low into the bottom left corner with his left foot. No chance for Donnarumma. It was a brilliant finish. It was a finish from a player who's on form and who is full of confidence in exactly what Nicholas Füllkrug has. And with his shot that ended up in the back of the net, he has given Dortmund a half-time lead here in the first half, as at the Signal Iduna Park. After the first 49 minutes, which has consisted of the first half, it is Dortmund 1, PSG 0. Like I said, I think Dortmund probably just deserve that. Like I say, they've not had it as much as the ball as PSG, but when they've had the ball and they've gone forward, they have looked a little bit more threatful. They look a bit more dangerous. They just seem a bit more connected. It just flows a bit more. Their attacks for PSG, it can be a bit disjointed at times. The run's not quite being made and the ball not quite finding the right player. Dortmund, it just looks a bit more flowing at the moment. It's been good to see the link up. The right back and right wing and the left back and left wing have played really well together. Because on the right you've got Ryerson and Sancho who have linked up really well. And then you've got on the left-hand side Maatsen and Adeyemi who have also been able to really get at Hakimi. Because Hakimi, as we mentioned before, has not had the greatest of first halves there. Defensively anyway, he was beaten quite a few times. And thankfully for the Moroccan, nothing quite came of it when he was beaten. But I hope everyone is enjoying. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll have another live commentary coming tomorrow as Aston Villa take on Olympiacos in their first leg of the Conference League semi-final. And we're also commentating on the National League playoff final on Sunday as Bromley take on Solihull Moors at 3 o'clock. That is Sunday the 5th of May. Yes, 5th of May. So make sure you are here for that one. We are not covering the second leg of this game because I'm busy on Tuesdays. So that means that's why I'm doing this leg on the Wednesday. So next week's commentary we'll be covering Real Madrid against Bayern Munich, their second leg on the Wednesday. Then we'll be doing the second leg between Aston Villa and Olympiacos the day after. And then we'll be doing 2 commentaries at the weekend. We'll be doing Gateshead against Solihull Moors. That's the FA Trophy final at Wembley. That's on the 11th of May. That's the Saturday. And we'll be doing one of the Championship playoff semi-final first legs on the Sunday. Of course, we don't quite know who that will be yet because the Championship season finishes on Sunday. So that can be confirmed a little bit later on in a couple of weeks' time. So, at the break, Dortmund do lead, but I think what's a little bit worrying for I don't think they'll be worrying about it yet, but in terms of a bit more of just a neutral side to it, I think a worry for Dortmund should be the fact that Kylian Mbappe hasn't really been in the game, which begs the question: how will PSG perform if they can get him in the game? You know, if PSG starts getting Mbappe into the right positions, getting him on the ball just in general, that's going to be dangerous. I think in games like this, where it can be a bit congested in the middle of the park because it's a 3-on-3 battle, you've got Sabitzer, Can and Brandt against Ruiz, Vitinha and Zaire Emery. Sometimes it just gets a bit too crowded. So I think at half-time, he might not do it because I'm not Luis Enrique, but I'd put Mbappe on the left. Barcola hasn't done enough on that left wing. He's been pretty poor, I think, actually. So I'll put Mbappe on the left and I'll bring on either Gonzalo Ramos up front for PSG or Randall Kolo Muani. But definitely put Mbappe on the left. I think he'll have a little bit more joy there. He just seems a little bit suffocated in that central area, not really getting on the ball or doing anything threatful for PSG. Their most threatening player has been Ousmane Dembele, who's had those 2 shots that have gone wide of each post. It's just like every time Dortmund go forward, you can see exactly what they're trying to do, and you can see it's well built, it's well put together, and there's an idea of what they're trying to do, and they've cut through PSG a few times here. But there is another 45 minutes to go here, and there's another 135 minutes to go as well, including the other leg that will take place next week in Paris. And you feel like for PSG, if they can just get themselves even if they keep it to this, even if they go into that second leg 1 down, I think they'll definitely fancy turning it around. If Dortmund are 2 up, you don't want to even say it. If they go 3 up as well, then that's a big comeback for Barcelona. I know they came back in their quarter-final last time out, losing the first leg at home as well, which was quite surprising, by 3-2. And then turning it around, winning 4-1 in the second leg. But again, anything's possible in the Champions League. The quarterfinals was some of the best set of fixtures we've had in the Champions League. And, semi-finals we've had in the past. The one I remember most is the season before I started commentating, and I wish I'd commentated on those semi-finals. But in 2018, 2019, when we had the Ajax Spurs semi-final and we had the Liverpool Barcelona one, they were the 2 greatest sets of semi-finals I can remember watching myself. So we'll have to see. Like I say, unfortunately, we won't be able to commentate on the second leg of this one. We'll have to wait and just see. We're covering the Real Madrid Bayern Munich second leg, because usually I do like to do both legs of one game, but like I say, I'm busy on Tuesday, so I've not been able to do that, hence why I'm having to do 2 different legs, 2 different games. Score prediction for Tottenham-Chelsea tomorrow. Like I said, I won't be watching that as well, of course. I'll be covering the Aston Villa Olympiacos game. Finish my notes for that today. Some of those Olympiacos names, wow, it is testing my pronunciation, that is for sure. Some of them are quite long and very difficult. They're a mouthful, but I don't know. It's Chelsea at home, aren't they? They're usually stronger at home than they are away. Of course, they beat Spurs away this season, but that was due to some circumstances of red cards for Spurs and injuries as well. Spurs aren't doing great at the moment, are they? They just about got back into the North London derby, but still were beaten. I'll go 2-1 Chelsea. I think just because they're better at home. If it was at Spurs, I'd probably go for something else. But I'm going to go 2-1 to Chelsea. I think they'll be able to. I think they'll be able to come through in that game. Because the thing is as well with that game, Chelsea are trying to get into that top 7, aren't they? They're not far off the likes of Manchester United and Newcastle. So I definitely want to try and finish as high as possible, Chelsea, which includes having to win this game that they've got coming up tomorrow. The second half of the first leg here at the Signal Iduna Park will be getting underway in a couple of minutes' time. It's Dortmund who lead through their 31-year-old striker, Niklas Füllkrug. It's only 3 seasons ago, that Niklas Füllkrug was playing in the second division of German football. He scored 19 goals that season in the 21-22 season, where he got Werder Bremen promoted. Scored 49 goals in 124 appearances for Werder Bremen, Füllkrug, before joining Dortmund in the summer for €15 million. I can name one Olympiacos player. Well, in fairness, I didn't know a lot of Olympiacos players until today. The one I didn't know they had that I forgot. They have Stefan Jovetic, who formerly of Manchester City, won 1 league title with City. That was the one that surprised me. I didn't know the manager they had as well. They've got Melodibar. Melodibar? I can't remember his name. Pedence is another one. Yeah, I can't remember the manager's name. I can't remember how to pronounce it. It was the Sevilla manager from last year. He was sacked early on. Medellíbar, yeah. Jose Luis Medellíbar. Yeah, that's it. That's their manager, and I had no idea that he'd gone to Olympiacos. Like I say, won the Europa League last season with Sevilla. Came into Sevilla's team as manager at the quarter-final stage and won the competition. So he had to take charge of 5 Europa League games. So that surprised me as well. I'm trying to think of some more players because I was researching them today to finish my notes off for that game. I'm trying to think of who else rings a bell because my memory's pretty rubbish, so I forget a lot of the time. So I'm trying to think of big names. I recognise the centre-back. They have someone called David Carmo. He was on loan at Braga 2 seasons ago. He scored at Rangers in Rangers' run to the Europa League final a couple of seasons ago. I recognised him. They've got Omar Richards as well, who's currently on loan at Olympiacos from Forest. He joined Bayern Munich for a little bit from Reading. Andre Horta as well. He was from Braga. His brother plays for Braga. Can't remember his brother's name. It's Andre Horta and can't remember his brother's name, but it's also Horta. Thanks to everyone who's ready here. Just waiting for this second half to begin of the Champions League semi-final between Dortmund and PSG. Luis Enrique, the PSG manager, has won the Champions League once with Barcelona in 2015, beating Juventus. But I think it would be a very interesting final, wouldn't it? Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, again at Wembley. That would just be, I mean, as a coincidence go, the last Wembley final had those 2 German sides. Ricardo Horta, yeah, that's it. I recognise them. Because, like I say, I commentated on Braga a few seasons ago when they played Rangers in the Europa League, and they had 2 brothers playing at the same time. It's always a nightmare, that, when you've got 2 players who've got the same last name. Because you've always got to use their first name, especially when you're doing like audio commentary as well. So I was just watching the Liverpool women and Chelsea women in the WSL. Chelsea being beaten there, which gives Manchester City the advantage in the title race. We have covered a lot of women's football this season, which has been very enjoyable. I think the women's game is growing rapidly. And it's a great watch. And yeah, Chelsea beating away at Liverpool. So advantage to Manchester City in the WSL title race. As at the Signal Iduna Park, we've got the players coming back out from the changing rooms into the tunnel. Holds over 80,000 supporters, this stadium. It's an absolute cauldron. And in fairness, Dortmund have only lost twice this season in the Champions League. Away at Atletico Madrid in the quarter-final first leg, and then in the away game against PSG, which was the first Champions League game of the season for both, when PSG won 2-0, an Mbappe penalty goal and a Hakimi goal from open play. And then 1-1 draw here. I think the 1-1, if there was another 1-1 draw here between these two, I think PSG would be the happier side. My team, Chelsea. Ooh, not a great season, is it, for Chelsea? In fact, it's not been a bad season, though, has it? FA Cup semi-final, League Cup final. I know the league hasn't been quite going to plan, for say, but you know, Chelsea have a good shot at 7th, which I don't think is a bad position to end in for Chelsea, especially when you've got Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Villa, Spurs. You know, them 5 teams have been, you know, clear of the others behind them. So I think a 7th place finish for Chelsea with the teams that would be above them, I don't think it'd be the bad season. I don't think it'd be the end of the world. It's not a 10th place finish, is it? I think sometimes you've got to just look at squads for what they are. Chelsea's squad isn't great. Chelsea don't have a top 4 squad for me. So I think expecting them to be in the top 4, I think is unrealistic. So the fact that they could end 7th, get European football, I think would be a decent season. As we're back underway here, it's Dortmund kicking right to left, PSG left to right towards their away support. And it's Dortmund to attack straight away in the final third with Sancho. Finds the run of Ryerson, who crosses into the box here. Header won by Beraldo, who's pushed in the back. And it's a free kick in the 18-yard box for PSG. The push in the back there by Nicholas Füllkrug. Next season will be weaker. Hopefully not. You should improve, really, Chelsea. Another summer of transfers. It's Vitinha, just about keeping the ball away from Sabitzer. Midway side his own half. It's PSG with it. Then number 17. Spent a bit of a time on loan with Wolves, Vitinha. Scoring once for them against Chorley away from home in the FA Cup. Now on the biggest stage of all in the Champions League a couple of seasons later. As we've had no changes this second half. So we've still got Bradley, Barcola on the left for PSG and Mbappe through the middle. On the right wing with Ousmane Dembele. One-on-one with Maatsen. Goes to his left to Zaire Emery. And returns it to Dembele. It's now towards the halfway line to Marquinhos. So in the centre circle with the substitute from the first half, Lucas Beraldo. Replaced the injured Lucas Hernandez. Vitinha. Out to the right again to Dembele. Isolated with Maatsen. Running into the box. Onto his right foot. Dembele crosses and it's Schlotterbeck to slide over. And block the cross for a corner for PSG. As they want to try and get on level terms as quickly as possible in this semi-final. Where they currently trail. The corner's taken short by Dembele. To Ruiz. Back to Dembele. On the angle. Crosses in. It's a good header from Hummels. It drops to Hakimi. Heads it forward there to Beraldo, who goes back to Mendes. Still alive for PSG. Barcola on the left wing. Finding Mendes, who's carried on his run from left back. His cross deflects to Barcola. On the edge of the area. Shoots from afar. And it's well held there by Kerbel. Didn't want to spill that because there was PSG players following that one. All the way in. Not a great strike from Barcola. Didn't quite catch it with his right foot. PSG's number 29. There's Füllkrug for Dortmund. Can only head it out of play for a PSG throw-in on this near side. Just inside their own half. It'll be Achraf Hakimi to take. knocked out in the last 16, PSG. In the last 2 seasons. Last time out was to Bayern Munich. The time before that was to Real Madrid. And before that was their last semi-final in 2021. Beaten by Manchester City. So 3 minutes into the second half, it's still 1-0. PSG the brighter side, but they're the team who need the goal at the moment. It's with right centre half of Marquinhos, who's been at the club now for well over 10 years, brought in from Roma in July 2013. Spent just 1 year in Italy before moving to PSG. And it's with Fabian Ruiz, midway inside the Dortmund half, on that far side, just keeps it in and goes back to Barcola. It's now with Mbappe, shoved to the ground there by Sabitzer. Free kick for PSG. Again, Mbappe not too involved so far in this one. As PSG take it quickly, it's just in front of the halfway line, right centre half here with Marquinhos. Forward to Dembele, who again will run at Maatsen, tries to play a ball into the box to Hakimi, cut out by Schlotterbeck. Misplaced pass, given away. Well intercepted there by Vitinha. It's the away side who are back on the ball. Need to try and keep it better than that if possible. PSG. It's Beraldo, the centre-back, in the centre circle, going out to the right. It's a sloppy pass. Adeyemi collects it. Heavy touch around Marquinhos. And Dortmund are in here. Adeyemi, 2 in the box. Back post it goes. Sancho slips. Gets back to his feet. Controls it. Down the line. Can't cross it. Slide challenge there by Zaire Emery. And that could have been such a cheap goal to give away. Really poor pass that from Beraldo. It was a simple 10-yard ball to his partner at centre-back, but instead it went to Adeyemi, whose cross was right, finding Sancho, who just lost his footing, and then once he got back up, he was forced down the line by Zaire Emery, who got the last touch, and corner kick for Dortmund. So it'll be Brandt to deliver. Outswinger towards Füllkrug, headed in the air by Marquinhos instead, helped away by Dembele. Headed out wide by Sabitzer towards Brandt, who will chase it down. He can't quite find a teammate with his flicked header. Cleared by Vitinha for PSG. Brought down by Mbappe, but straight to Sancho, who's on the ball. Across to his left to Chan. Poked away from him by Dembele to Füllkrug, who can't quite hold it up on the edge of the box. And it's a chance for a counter-attack for PSG. Nuno Mendes laying it off to his right to Dembele. It's now Hakimi. Mbappe's free on the left, in the box. Kylian Mbappe. On his right foot, shooting to the far corner and hitting the post. Back to Mbappe. On his right foot again, trying to shoot, falls over this time. But the shot comes in from Hakimi and off the post again. Still alive. Mendes crosses and it can't quite be headed on by Mbappe. And talk about surviving big chances. PSG have just hit the post twice in quick succession. Mbappe from that left wing position onto his right foot. Shooting across goal. He beat the goalkeeper, but he didn't beat the post. And then the woodwork was rattled again. It was the left-hand post this time, when Hakimi was the one to shoot low. Again, goalkeeper beaten, but not the post. And somehow, at the Signal Iduna Park, it remains Dortmund 1, PSG 0. But Dortmund hitting the post twice there. And they're going to come again. Dortmund are on the ropes. Dembele with the cross. It's deflected away for a corner by Maatsen. And momentum is certainly with the away side at the moment. Taking short to Ruiz, but he loses it to Adeyemi, who's having his shirt pulled. Advantage is played by Anthony Taylor. Adeyemi still has it. Keeping it away from Marquinhos, and eventually the free kick's given. And it's a yellow card for Fabian Ruiz for the blatant shirt pulling there on Adeyemi. And I think PSG are known for it at times, but PSG have really got to keep a cool head here, if possible. This is where it calls upon leaders to keep the team grounded in this game. They can't let the game get away from them. It's only the first leg. They've got to stay in the game keep it at 1 goal down. If they can obviously get a goal to equalise, then that's an absolute bonus. Because Silva's leaving to Fluminense, Gallagher and James. Well, Gallagher and James might not leave. It's only rumours at the end of the day. But I do know Thiago Silva's going. I saw that yesterday. But I think Chelsea need a little bit more than Thiago Silva staying at the club to improve, that's for sure. As Barkley slips it through for Mbappe, who shot at the near post. He's gone straight to Kerbal. They've got to put Mbappe on that left-hand side. He's just hit the post from that position. He's had another shot there from that position, being played through by Barkley. Don't get me wrong, the shot wasn't great. It was straight at the Swiss 6'5" goalie. But he's definitely more of a threat from the left, Mbappe. In this game, anyway. That is for sure. Füllkrug wins the header on Beraldo, but he's done it by fouling him. So it's a free kick for PSG. Just inside their own half here in a bit more of a central area. Taken quickly by Vitinha. Gets the ball returned to him by Fabian Ruiz. It's now with Marquinhos. Into the space for Dembele. In the final third, 1-on-1 with Adeyemi. On to his left side here, Dembele. Playing it across to Zaire Emery. It's now Vitinha. Mendes. Barcola. The left winger. 1-on-1 with Ryerson. Which way will he go? He'll have to pass it backwards to Vitinha. And then across to Marquinhos. About 40 yards from goal. Goes forward to Dembele. Then out wide to Hakimi. Dembele. 1-2 with Zaire Emery. Dortmund have everyone behind the ball as Dembele has been tripped by Chan. And that's a free kick for PSG. Definitely been the better side in this second half so far for the opening 10 minutes, PSG, but they've not got a goal for show for it, even though they have hit the post twice already, through Mbappe and Hakimi. It's now with the Moroccan, Hakimi, out wide right to Dembele. Not got many options with him. Has to go back to Marquinhos, sitting very deep at the moment, Dortmund, but very compact. Vitinha swings it out to the right again to Dembele. Who goes back to Marquinhos, who crosses. It's a brilliant ball in and it's headed wide. From 6 yards out, Fabian Ruiz simply has to score. And how on earth this game is still 1-1 is an absolute mystery. I was getting a bit frustrated there that Dembele went back to Marquinhos again because Dembele was 1-on-1 with Adeyemi. But Marquinhos worked a crossing from the angle in behind the Dortmund defence. Through for Ruiz, who just headed it too square. Well wide of the post. He had to just flick that on. Huge opportunity. And again, somehow, this is Dortmund 1, PSG 0. They've hit the post. They missed a sitter with the header from 6 yards out. You feel like it's only a matter of time until PSG get on the score sheet here. But they are still trailing. As Dortmund play out from the back. It's Sabitzer down the right-hand side. Over the halfway line he goes. Green grass to run into. He lays it off to his right here to Sancho, who cuts inside, tackled by Mendes. Loose ball drops towards Brandt, but instead it's Zaire Emery to collect it. And he plays it into the space here for Hakimi. And PSG are bombing forward here. Hakimi with it. Just slows the play down. Gets away from Adeyemi. Dembele inside, space for Zaire Emery. 25 yards out, doesn't fancy the shot. Goes across to the left to Ruiz. It's now Mbappe. Tries to roulette beyond Hummels, slide tackle, gives it away. And it's now back with PSG though, with Vitinha. No one in the box for PSG at the moment as he plays it to the left wing to Barcola. Mbappe flicks on towards Ruiz, who was in an offside position, so left it. And then Ryerson shoved to the ground from behind there by Barcola. It's a free kick for Dortmund. Under a bit of pressure at the moment, the German side. But Edin Terzic, the Dortmund manager, he's only won 9 of his 22 games in charge in the Champions League. But he has only lost once at home in this competition. And that was against Manchester City in the quarter-final stage in April 2021. But Dortmund have never lost here at home to PSG in 3 games, drawing twice and losing once PSG. Down the right flank. What a touch that is from Sancho. plays it to his left. Füllkrug, edge of the box, shoots and it deflects and it goes wide for a corner. Ryerson just played it down the right-hand side for Dortmund. It was quite a high ball, but Sancho was able to get his foot right up into the air and he plucked it down from the sky so effortlessly. And then Füllkrug with his left foot again shooting straight at Marquinhos. And a corner it is for Dortmund, but they won't mind corners. They'll take set pieces. They've got plenty of bodies in there to cause danger from high crosses into the box. Brandt delivers it. That's very deep, but he will reach Hummels, who heads it across, deflects off Chan. Mbappe tries to take on Sabitzer instead. He's been pulled back, but not enough for the referee to give a foul. So Dortmund have it on halfway with Ryerson. High ball out to the left towards Brandt. It's ducked out of the way there, Hakimi. So it's a PSG ball with a throw-in. Clever defending there by Hakimi, not to head away and give it straight back to Dortmund, but he will absolutely volley this one away, up into the sky, headed forward by Chan, towards the edge of the box, where it's nodded down by Füllkrug, and Brandt will hurry the shot, and he drags it well wide. Needs to be doing better than that, Julian Brandt. I feel like he's not been involved heavily in this game. Dortmund's number 19. They do have a couple of players they could bring on for him, the likes of Felix Mecha, or Marco Reus. Daniel Marlins are also returned for this game on the bench. He's missed the last 3 injured with a knee problem. But just the one change so far in this game. That came in the first half. Lucas Hernandez, the centre-back for PSG, was injured. And he was replaced by Lucas Beraldo. Sancho gets away from Mendes and charges into the box. Pulls it across and it's Füllkrug over the bar. How on earth we've not had a goal in this second half, I do not know. Sancho receiving the ball from Ryerson. Ran at Mendes, who got close to Sancho. Skipped beyond him. Too easy. And then towards the byline, Sancho pulled it back and just before the 6-yard line, Füllkrug leaning back. Sends it over the crossbar. Just couldn't quite get over it. As the pullback did have just a bit of height. And just almost shinned it there. Füllkrug in the end. As we've got half an hour to play of this first leg, Dortmund still lead. Füllkrug goal in the 36th minute of the game. As PSG switch it across the pitch there to right back Hakimi, who will bring it forward, passing it to Ousmane Dembele, who takes it beyond the halfway line and playing it back to Hakimi. Dembele's continued his run, but Hakimi plays it off Maatsen. It's now Dortmund back on the ball. Brandt going into the midfield. It's a very risky pass and it's straight to Vitinha. Wants the 1-2 with Mbappe, but he can't regain the possession there, Vitinha. And it's back to Kerbel, who finds Schlotterbeck, who's got Dembele closing him down. Kerbel needs to get it rid. And he plays it out to Maatsen at left back. That was almost absolutely the end of the world there for Dortmund. They nearly gave it away in their own box there, but they have eventually given it away. It's now Vitinha finding Ousmane Dembele. Not fancy running at the full-back this second half. Dembele keeping it simple for a lot of the possession. Barcola touch inside, shut off by Ryerson. It's now Sancho gets away from Barcola. In a right back position is Sancho deep in his own half. Turns away from Barcola again and then gets it forward to Ryerson. Returns it to Sancho, who now finds Emre Can, the captain. It's now with Kerbel, the goalkeeper, finding the left centre half of Schlotterbeck. Hummels. Pass closed down by Barcola. Throwing for Dortmund in a right back position. Almost nicking the ball there. Barcola. I'm still surprised they're continuing with Mbappe through the middle. I put Mbappe on the left wing myself. That's where he's most dangerous in this game, when he's just peeled across to that left wing position. Throwing long, flicked on by Füllkrug, and then in behind to Adeyemi by Brandt. Hakimi's chasing it, and Hakimi will just shove him to the ground. Bit too weak there, Adeyemi. And it's now Hakimi to bring it forward. Pass. Can't quite find Dembele on halfway. Schlotterbeck forward. Füllkrug lays it off for Sabitzer. Out to the left now to Brandt. In the box. Wants it on his right foot. Crosses instead towards Füllkrug. Shoving the back, which puts him off balance. Dortmund, what a penalty. Anthony Taylor says no. And PSG can bring it away. Dortmund want the penalty for 2 hands in the back as Hummels slide tackles Mbappe very fairly. And in the centre circle, it's with Julian Brandt, who's forced to go back to Schlotterbeck, who likes to advance with the ball, and he's doing it again here, Schlotterbeck, into the midfield, and out to the far side here to Sancho. This game is really coming alive in this second half now. Sancho inside to Chan, loads of time on the ball for him. About 25 yards out, bringing it across towards this near side and playing the ball to Julian Brandt. One-on-one with Hakimi. He's got Maatsen in support. Now with Ian Maatsen, who's been forced to go back here to Schlotterbeck. He's now back to Maatsen across the halfway line to Hummels, who's been closed down by Barkler, so forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Kerbal. Quickly out to the right side here to Ryerson. Sancho, about 10 yards inside the PSG half on the far side, being forced to go backwards to Ryerson. It's now Hummels. It's just a bit of more calm possession now for Dortmund in their own half. Sancho works down the lad Sabitzer and returns it to Sancho with a back heel. Sancho, he's got Maatsen free to the left. He finds him. Maatsen tries to go for the first time pass to Adeyemi. Cut out by Hakimi, who then pulls down Maatsen. And it'll be a free kick for Borussia Dortmund. That's the thing with the home side tonight. Every time they've come forward, they do look like they can score. Sancho's looked brilliant. It just shows, players don't turn rubbish overnight. That's just not a thing. It really can depend on the team they play in, what league they play in. The Premier League just might not suit Sancho to the way he plays. The Manchester United squad he was in might not suit the way he plays. He might be better in a Arsenal team or a City team. He's a really good player. He's played really well tonight, Jadon Sancho. Been thoroughly impressed. As eventually, Luis Enrique is going to make the change that I've been telling him to do. I don't know why he's not answering my message, Luis Enrique. I was telling him to get Bradley Barcola off the pitch, and he has Bradley Barcola, the left winger, off for Kolo Muani, which I presume and I'm hoping means it sends Mbappe to the left wing and Kolo Muani will play through the middle. But with 25 to play, free kick from the left-hand side here for Dortmund. They've got the left-footed option of Maatsen and the right-footed option of Julian Brandt. As Brandt leaves it for Maatsen, crosses, great area, and the header's won. And over the bar again by Füllkrug. He's had a couple of chances this second half. Nicholas Füllkrug to get his second of the game. I think everyone was offside though for Dortmund. Hummels, Schlotterbeck and Füllkrug. It's Dortmund back in possession. Just inside their own half with Chan. Going out to this near side to Ian Maatsen. First ever Champions League campaign for Ian Maatsen since joining on loan in January from Chelsea. And he's really rising to the level of football that he needs to be playing at tonight. Scoring in that quarter-final second leg against Atletico Madrid. Still with Dortmund with their right centre-half of Mats Hummels. Contract expires at the end of the season. He's 35 though. So it's just interesting to see how much football he's got left to play. Well, Mats Hummels also played for Dortmund when these two sides met in the Europa League in the 2010-2011 season in the group stage. Shows how much these two clubs have come on in the last 14 or so years. Füllkrug out to the right here to Sabitzer. Finding Sancho midway side the PSG half on that far side. Waiting for the right option, but going back to Ryerson. Sabitzer wanting to turn out to the right side, but he's been stopped by by Beraldo, sorry. And it's now PSG on the ball with Ruiz. Lifting it here to Dembele's touch is loose, very loose, and gives it straight to Maatsen. It's now Dortmund back in possession with a quarter of the game to play. Just the one goal separating the two sides at the moment. Maatsen into Chan. Now Schlotterbeck, the left centre-half, who brings it forward, shrugging off Mbappe and then looking for the pass to Brandt, but it's had to be kicked out of play there by Vitinha. Throwing for Dortmund. But when these two sides met in the last 16 in 2019-2020 season, the first leg was at Dortmund and they won it 2-1. A brace from Erling Haaland scoring the 69th minute before the equaliser from Neymar in the 75th, but then Dortmund retook the lead 2 minutes later. But in the second leg at PSG, they won 2-0 to turn it around. And Emre Can, red card, which I believe was given by Anthony Taylor. I think he was the referee for that game as well, just over 4 years ago. Still with Dortmund in the PSG far side. Sancho being made to go backwards here to Ryerson. And then on once more to Hummels. Forward to Sancho. Oh, his turns are brilliant and his touches of the ball. And just calmly played it to the left channel here to Maatsen. Adeyemi with his left foot delivers it. It's a very overhit one. Too much on it. Out for a throw-in on that far side for PSG, which will be taken by Nuno Mendes. Needs to be delivering it better than that. Karim Adeyemi, who can play right across the front three, formerly of Bayern Munich himself during his youth days. Not been called up, though, for Germany, Adeyemi, since the World Cup, which is well over a year ago now, in Qatar, which is crazy to think it was that long ago. PSG on the ball with his near side, Hakimi, just inside his own half still here, the Moroccan. Just slowing the game down a little bit, PSG. As I mentioned, I don't think this is the worst result in the world to be a goal behind going into the second leg at home. Of course, they'd rather it be level. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I don't think a one-goal disadvantage is the worst thing, really. There's Marquinhos, about 30 yards from goal. Goes out to the right wing here to Dembele. Not many options around him. Can find Zaire Emery. Back out to Dembele. Across to Beraldo. In the centre of the park. Midway side of the Dortmund half. Goes to his left to Vitinha. Then forward to Kolo Muani. And his pass forward. Nowhere near Fabian Ruiz. That's a throw-in for Dortmund. Bit cheap to give the possession away like that. Randall Kolo Muani was brought in from Frankfurt in the summer for £76.4 million. He scored 23 goals last season and provided 17 assists in all competitions for the German side. You might remember his big chance he missed in the World Cup final himself. That famous Emi Martinez save in the final. Did go on and score his penalty though in the shootout, Kolo Muani, but as everyone remembers, didn't quite go France's way, that shootout. As Maatsen beyond the halfway line, feeding it into Adeyemi. He's got space to run into here. Maatsen's continued his run, but Adeyemi loses it to Fabian Ruiz, but it deflects to Chan. So Dortmund can continue their attack. It's with Sancho in the right wing position. One-on-one with Nuno Mendes. Sancho with it. Holding it up. Waiting for a bit of support and goes around Mendes, who then falls over the ball. And Sancho pulls it back for Sabitzer. Still a bit of a tight angle for the Austrian. And he's eventually tackled. And Vitinha plays it to Kolo Muani, who in the box needs to clear it if he can. Finds the pass to Mbappe, who returns it to Kolo Muani. And PSG can look to try and break here. Chan stops him in his tracks though. And no foul, just too strong for him. Good midfield battle in there by Chan. And it's now 1-2 between Schlotterbeck and Adeyemi, but it's been cut out there by Nuno Mendes. And it's now Hakimi in front of the halfway line with the ball. Finding Dembele, running at the Dortmund defence. He's got options out left and he works it to Fabian Ruiz. On once more here for Mbappe. Into the box on the left-hand side. Lifts it through. Dembele shooting. Saved and a header from Maatsen's key. Because Kolo Muani nearly finished it off. And on the halfway line. Play will be stopped here as Nuno Mendes has stayed down and he's looking in quite some pain here. The 21-year-old fullback. And just as he won the ball back off Adeyemi, as he tried the 1-2 with Schlotterbeck, Nuno Mendes just stretched in. And yeah, just stood on his foot there on Schlotterbeck. From Schlotterbeck as he tried to get the ball back from Adeyemi. So hopefully it'll be something that Nuno Mendes can run off. But it was a bit of a heavy contact. Been out of injury for the majority of the season, Nuno Mendes. Hamstring problem. That was a big chance for Dembele. Big save by Kerbal. Left arm out to save it. From 6 yards out. And from the save, it nearly dropped onto the head of Kolo Muani, but instead it was Maatsen to win it, and eventually it was cleared. So Nuno Mendes will be receiving some treatment. But I've been really impressed with Nico Schlotterbeck, the Dortmund centre-back who's played alongside Hummels. I just like his progression with the ball. He always tries to go forward with it, and he provided the assist for the goal with the pass over the top. But we're back underway. Nuno Mendes okay to continue. Sancho throws it back to PSG as they were in possession of the ball before they kicked it out for their own support, for their own player. Vitinha. Crossfield ball out to the right wing here to Dembele. Good control. Ousmane Dembele with it. Plays it inside for Hakimi, who has to go back now to Zaire Emery. 16 minutes of the 90 to play. Plus any added on time. It's Vitinha. That's a really poor touch. Chan takes it off him. Sancho to Füllkrug. Needs to get his head up and out to the left, and he finds Adeyemi. He's got Brandt in ahead of him. Out to that left-hand side. He'll work it to Brandt. In the box. On his right foot. Returns it to Adeyemi, who can turn away from Hakimi. Finds the pass to Chan. Out wide right to Ryerson. It's now with Sancho. Enters the box himself. Onto his left side. Sancho. Then onto his right. Shooting, and it deflects into the gloves of Donnarumma. Dortmund also looking for a second on the break when they can get forward. And it's now Hakimi to Dembele on halfway. Mbappe's making a run through the middle as Kolo Muani's on the left. It's now with Mbappe. About 25 yards from goal. Goes towards Kolo Muani. Pass intercepted by Ryerson. But Kolo Muani will try and win it back there for PSG, but he's lost it again. Really good tackle by Ryerson. And the referee rightly plays on. Sancho cuts back and then finds a ball on halfway to Chan. And then through the middle to Füllkrug. Good control. Almost got away from him. It's now with the left. It's now the left centre half of Schlotterbeck, who goes across to Mats Hummels. Making appearance number 88 in the Champions League in his career, Mats Hummels. Never scored in 7 against PSG from the back. Hummels, who brings it forward here. Still going Hummels, and out to the right it goes to Sabitzer. What a change around for Sabitzer as well. Knocked out of the Europa League quarter-finals last season whilst he was at United. Now he's in the Champions League semi-final with Dortmund as he switched Bayern for Dortmund in the summer. Ball over the top for Dortmund, controlled by Adeyemi, but Hakimi gets across and falls to the ground. And Anthony Taylor gives a free kick. I think he's bought that one a little bit there, Hakimi. When have we seen that before? You feel like defenders are always buying free kicks when they're under pressure from attackers. As they try and go forward quickly, the Hakimi pass to Dembele's gone through his legs. And back for Dortmund here with Chan. Going to the right-hand side here to Sancho. Midway side the PSG half. He keeps advancing forward. Bit isolated out there. Tries to find a ball to Sabitzer, but cut out by Mendes. Now Kolo Muani in between two Dortmund players. Tries to slip the ball through to Mbappe, but Hummels is there to intercept. It's Adeyemi on the left. Trying to play a heavy touch beyond Hakimi, but he can't get away from the Moroccan. And it's now with Hakimi on the ball, finding Vitinha in his own half. And PSG have to start again from the back with Lucas Baraldo, the Brazilian. Finds Mbappe in a left wing position. Not many runs being made ahead of him here. He's one-on-one with Sancho. Goes onto his right foot and playing it across to Zaire Emery. Everyone behind the ball for Dortmund here, showing how deep they are sitting when they don't have the ball, trying to hold on to what they've trying to hold on what they've got at the moment. And that is a 1-goal lead. Just over 77 minutes played here at Signal Iduna Park. Marquinhos playing it out to the right wing here to Hakimi. Now finding Dembele. Just outside the 18-yard box. Hakimi to Zaire Emery. Playing the ball across to Vitinha. Mbappe out to the left here. Fabian Ruiz Ball goes in, deflects into the air and out for a corner. Just feel like either of the two teams can nick a goal here. Early on in the half, PSG did hit the post twice through Mbappe and Hakimi, but Dortmund have had their chances as well. And PSG go short to Dembele. No angle for a cross. It goes to the edge of the area to Vitinha. Shifts it on once more to his right to Hakimi. Thought about the shot, but instead goes to Mendes, who delivers it into the box in behind the defence towards Dembele. It's overhit though. Out for a goal kick. Just overhit that by Nuno Mendes. And he's asking a lot of Ousmane Dembele. The last time that Ousmane Dembele featured in a Champions League knockout game before this season was for Barcelona against PSG in February and March of 2021. Just shows the real lack of achievement from Barcelona in previous years gone by, where they ended up having to play in the Europa League at one point. PSG have it. Vitinha. What a slight challenge that is from Hummels. And he kicks it straight to Adeyemi. Brandt's on his back to his left. And he'll find Brandt in space in the final third, just outside the box at the moment. Plays it to his right to Can. And then back to Brandt. Just slows down the attack slightly. As Brandt delivers in towards Sabitzer, who can't quite control. Don't think he expected that ball to go through, because it did look like Nuno Mendes was going to head away. But Nuno Mendes missed the ball completely. And behind it goes for a goal kick. Almost fell there to Marcel Sabitzer. Only his second ever semi-final, Marcel Sabitzer. His other semi-final was against PSG, a one-off semi-final game when he was at Leipzig in the 2020 COVID season. It's PSG, go over the top. Hakimi controls it, tight angle, chops onto his left, pulls it across. Dembele with the shot! And over the bar. He's not even got it on target. It feels like it's been the story of the game for both. Missing a lot of clear chances. Not working a lot of them on target, and that's another big one. About 12 yards out. So much time for Dembele. He's gone first time instead. And blazed it over the bar. That's a let-off once again for Borussia Dortmund. I just don't know how they've kept hold of this one-goal lead at the moment. It baffles me that PSG have not found the back of the net yet. We've got the less than 10 minutes of the 90 to play. Lifted ball out by Kerbal, straight over the head of Ryerson. And it's a throw in a dangerous position here for PSG on the far side. They throw it back here to Nuno Mendes at left-back. Hakimi. Finding Zaire Emery. Dembele to Zaire Emery. Such a young footballer, but so good. Warren Zaire Emery, 18 years old. Only turned 18 in March as well. There's Dembele. Regains it off Brandt. Mbappe. Out to Dembele. On once more to Hakimi. Pull back for Mbappe. Touches it. Can't get the shot off. Sabitzer takes it off him, but Dembele keeps it alive and Vitinha can shoot it. And wide it goes. Dragged wide from the edge of the box. And again, it's a Dortmund goal kick. Mbappe's touch just got away from him, which meant he could get the shot off. So we're going to get a change here for Borussia Dortmund. It's their first of the game. And we're just about to hit the 82nd minute. So Karim Adeyemi will be substituted off it for Marco Reus, a Borussia Dortmund living legend. Borussia Dortmund's Marco Reus coming on for his 70th Champions League appearance. You feel like he could have so many more than that if it wasn't for his horrid times with injuries. In fairness, his last major injury for Reus came in the 17-18 season. So he's not had a long-term layoff for a while. It's just the short injuries he gets where he's out for a couple of weeks here, couple of weeks there. And it's just not killed his career, because he still had a phenomenal career with Dortmund. This is appearance number 424 for Marco Reus in black and yellow. But Could have been so much more without all of these injuries as Hummels swings it out to the left-hand side here. Overhit. Royce won't chase it. It'll be a PSG throwing in a right-back position here. Hakimi clears it from the throw-in to the halfway line where Schlotterbeck heads forward. Touchdown by Brandt to Sancho. 25 yards out. Slips it through. Brandt to score. What a block that is from Marquinhos. Still alive with Sancho, who crosses in again. Header on. And it's over the top by Sabitzer. That looked to be a certain goal. It was a perfect pass from Sancho in between the PSG defence. As it looked like it was going to be a simple finish for Brandt to just guide it home. Marquinhos out of nowhere slides across and blocks it. And the Sancho cross was headed over the top by Marco Reus in the end. I just can't believe we've only had one goal scored. So many chances for both. Just not clinical enough. PSG come forward, halfway line. Vitinha looking out to the left-hand side. Bringing in Kolo Muani. Can't get away from Ryerson. Good tackle from the Norwegian right-back, who made his 50th appearance for Dortmund. Very recently, in their last game. As Mbappe, tackled by Ryerson. It's another great challenge. Time to perfection. Drops to Nuno Mendes, who goes down the line, but no one's making any movement to that position, so it's Dortmund to get it back. And it's left to Ryerson, who gets away from Vitinha, pulled down by the Portuguese midfielder. Free kick for Dortmund. It's a really good performance here by Julian Ryerson, who joined the club in January 2023 from Union Berlin for €5 million. Left Norway to come to Germany in July 2018 to join Union Berlin. But last season, Dortmund also had a difficult group. They had a difficult group this season. They were in the group of death, but last season they had the group of Manchester City, Sevilla, Copenhagen, where they finished second in the group, but losing to Chelsea in the two-legged tie. Winning here 1-0 in the first leg, but losing at Stamford Bridge 2-0. There's had a bit of a pause in the game here as Ryerson was just struggling with cramp, the Dortmund right back. They do have Marius Wolf to bring on as a backup if needed, who did start the 2 games against PSG in the group stage, Marius Wolf. As we're back underway, Hummels sending the ball long, left-footed, over the top of the defence, looking for Füllkrug, who will chase it in the right wing position. Dealt with by Mendes, kept in as well. Then played forward to Ruiz, then goes back to Marquinhos to keep possession. It's now Dortmund to defend as PSG bring it forward. So I think Ryerson back on for Dortmund at right back. No, he's not. He's having to come off. So at the moment, Dortmund are down to 10. Ousmane Dembele through for Zaire Emery on the right-hand side, just outside the box for now. Plays it to the edge of the area to Vitinha. Lifts it in towards Fabian Ruiz, who heads it towards goal again. And wide it goes. They've just simply not had enough shots on target tonight, PSG. 3 on target so far. I know they've hit the post twice, but need to work the goalkeeper a little bit more, as we're going to get a double change for Dortmund. Of course, the right-back Julian Ryerson will come off for Marius Wolf. The 28-year-old right-back, as mentioned before, did start the 2 previous games against PSG in the group stage. And the other change, you'll see Julian Brandt be replaced by Felix Metscher, brought in the summer for €30 million from Wolfsburg. He did come through Manchester City's academy. Felix Metscher, making 3 appearances for the first team, was born in Hamburg but moved to England at the age of 7. Was injured in the last game against PSG as well, Metscher, so didn't feature. As Dortmund come forward again. Sancho out to the new right back of Wolf, who's full of pace and full of energy, and he'll cross it, deflects, and then headed back to Wolf by Sancho. And then Wolf kicks it off Kolo Muani, throwing for Dortmund on that far side, taken quickly. And then given away. Then one back, Sancho finding Sabitzer, returning it to Sancho in the box, pull back, deflects off Beraldo. And Sancho can see it behind for a corner. He has quite simply been the best player on the pitch tonight, Jadon Sancho. Such a good performance on that right wing. His best Bundesliga seasons have seen him score 12 goals with 14 assists, and his best season was 17 goals with 16 assists. And those were in back-to-back seasons, 59 goal contributions in 2 seasons in the Bundesliga for Sancho when he was first at the club. So of course he's got it, and he's showing exactly why he's one of Europe's best wingers on his day. Corner goes in. Header won though by Nuno Mendes there. Straight to Sancho, touches it forward here. And it's Dortmund back on the ball. Sancho to the halfway line here to Marius Wolf. It goes to Kerbal, the goalkeeper, midway side the Dortmund half here. Kicks it long, in towards the 18-yard box where he's hit it too long. Right through into the gloves of Donnarumma. As PSG are running out of time here in terms of a result on the night. Of course, they still have the second leg to play in Paris next Tuesday. But they don't have a game at the weekend, PSG. So they have a full 6-day break. Dortmund do play at the weekend. They play here at home against Augsburg, which they'll need to win that game because they're currently struggling in Bundesliga, fifth in the table at the moment, 5 points off fourth. As Wolf tackles Kolo Muani, but can only clear it as far as Fabian Ruiz. It's now with the number 17 of Vitinha. Switches it out to the right. It's a high ball, but it'll be controlled down by Hakimi in the final third. Finds Zaire Emery. Goes across to Beraldo. Nuno Mendes, the left back, goes forward to Fabian Ruiz. Back into Nuno Mendes. Everyone behind the ball for Dortmund, with Marquinhos with it. Across to Beraldo. Lifts it to the right-hand side here to Ousmane Dembele. Brings it inside into a more central area. Dembele looking for the pass, skips beyond Shan. Still with Ousmane Dembele here. To the edge of the box on the left-hand side. Playing it through for Fabian Ruiz, who lifts across in towards Zaire Emery, who heads it towards goal, and it could not go any more over the crossbar. Goal kick for Dortmund. Pretty poor header in the end there by Warren Zaire Emery. As the fourth official will indicate 4 minutes of added time here at the end of this first leg, as Dortmund are going to make a change here. Youssoufa Moukoko, the young 19-year-old striker, will replace the goal scorer of Nicholas Füllkrug, who scored in the last game against Atletico Madrid in the second leg of the quarter-final. And now he's on the score sheet again in the semi-final first leg against PSG. And they'll bring on a little bit of youth here with Youssoufa Moukoko. Yet to score in the Champions League in his career. Someone who's been spoke about so much when he came through as a young prospect at 16. Youngest ever Bundesliga player and goal scorer. Making his first Bundesliga appearance a day after his 16th birthday. And scoring his first Bundesliga goal 28 days after his 16th birthday. Hasn't quite scored as many goals in professional football than he did in youth football, but still his numbers are pretty impressive as he's here on the ball, in the box, trying to cross it in. I don't know who he's aiming for. Straight out of play for a goal kick. Maybe a little bit too excited there, Youssoufa Moukoko off the bench. This is appearance number 97 for him for Dortmund at the age of 19. Shows how many chances he has been given in the last couple of years due to his talent. As PSG have got 2.5 minutes to try and get an equaliser, which will probably put them as favourites going into the second leg. If it's all square, playing the second leg at the home of PSG. Hakimi again to bring it forward, switching out to the left. It's an early ball, and it'll work. Kolo Muani controls it. Goes to the edge of the area to Mbappe. Wants to slip the ball through towards Fabian Ruiz, but instead goes out to the opposite side to Hakimi. Oh, it's great control. Finds Dembele, who passes it across to his left to Vitinha. Deflected pass does reach Fabian Ruiz. One-on-one with Wolf. Crosses right-footed. Controlled by Mbappe straight into the air, where it's caught by Gregor Kerbal. And it does look like it just might not be PSG's night. Doesn't mean it might not be their tie. They could still go through next week. But tonight, in the attacking third, it's just not quite materialised. They've had their chances. And somehow, I don't quite know how, they've not hit the back of the net at least once tonight, PSG. It is Hummels on the ball at right centre-back, being chased down by Colomani. Does find the goalkeeper of Kerbal, who clears it first time, right-footed into the PSG half. Header won by Nuno Mendes. Straight to Emre Can. Kicks it straight off Fabian Ruiz, but then hooked over the head there for Dortmund, in behind for Moukoko. But he'll go into the gloves of Donnarumma instead. 60 seconds left of this first leg. Can PSG get a late equaliser? Nuno Mendes down the line for Vitinha, just inside the Dortmund half, bringing it forward, going inside to Fabian Ruiz. Back to Vitinha. Switches it again out to the right flank to Dembele. He will chest it down and he will run at Maatsen. And he pulls it back to Hakimi. Pass low, cut out by Sabitzer. Drops to Moukoko, who goes to Sancho. And then back through to Moukoko, who's peeled out to the right wing. And it looks like that could be that for PSG. Moukoko to bring it forward, but tackled by Beraldo. And can't quite keep it in. Throwing on the halfway line for Dortmund. And it looks like they have done enough to go into the second leg with what will be a 1-goal lead. As they run down the clock here with this throw-in. Signal Iduna Park is quite calm at the moment, right before the full-time whistle, and it will be blown by the referee, Anthony Taylor. Borussia Dortmund win the first leg by 1-0. It's only their second ever victory against PSG, and it's come at home once again. Just by the 1 goal, and that was all that was needed. Nicholas Füllkrug in the first half, drilling in a low shot into the bottom left corner. Just too much pace on it for Donnarumma to stop it from going in. And somehow in that second half, we have not had another goal from either of the two teams. I'm not really sure how. PSG hitting the post twice through Hakimi and Mbappe. Fabian Ruiz had a header that went wide that he should have done a lot better with. And Dortmund had their chances as well. Füllkrug put 2 over the bar. But it is just the first half of the tie. There's still another 90 minutes to play. Could be extra time depending on what the scoreline is next week. But with the advantage going into that second leg in Paris, it is Dortmund. 1-goal lead, winning 1-0 here tonight at the Signal Iduna Park. I really do feel like both teams should have scored at least twice in that game. But Dortmund just with the 1, and it's enough for them to take a lead. But just absolutely baffled how it's not been more. Great commentary, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who did tune in. Make sure you do like and subscribe if you haven't already. That is going to be the end of the live commentary. I'm commentating tomorrow as well. Aston Villa against Olympiacos in their Conference League semi-final first leg. So make sure you tune in for that. And we're also commentating on Sunday as it is the National League playoff final as Bromley take on Solihull Moors at Wembley. That's 3 o'clock. So they're the next 2 commentaries for this week. Make sure you do tune into them. We will be covering the semi-final second leg of Bayern Munich against Real Madrid. We're not covering the second leg of this tie, is because I'm busy on the Tuesday, hence why I have to do this leg on the Wednesday. So it is annoying how I can't do both legs. I would have liked to have done both, but we've got a right treat of a game to cover next Tuesday, as it'll be Real Madrid hosting Bayern Munich, as that game is all square at 2-2. But I hope you did enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out the streams that come on later this week, tomorrow and Sunday. But here at the Signal Iduna Park, it was quite an even game between Borussia Dortmund and PSG. Both of them had an absolute handful of chances, but only one of them was taken with 10 minutes to go in the first half. And over the top through ball by Nico Schlotterbeck, straight into the path of Nicholas Füllkrug, who took a nice touch out of his feet with his right foot, drilled it into the bottom left corner with his left foot, and it's the only goal of the game, and it does mean that Dortmund have a 1-goal advantage going into the second leg in Paris next week. But here at the Signal Iduna Park, it finishes Borussia Dortmund 1, PSG 0.